Hello, my name is Marc from jazzguitarlessons.net, and today's jazz guitar tip is let's get a fresh look on voice leading in between chords. If you don't know what voice leading is, well, basically it's the art of moving the voices within chords to create smooth lines with a minimal amount of movement in between chords. For instance, if you learn a chord shape here and your next chord is up here, then you don't really have good voice leading. So let's see why we should do this. Well, in very brief, that's how great musicians play comping, especially jazz guitarists. And it's the best reason for you to learn it today because that's how we play it and that's how piano players do it also. Another thing is when you learn proper voice leading and you understand what you're doing, you're getting away from comping by shape and you're making more better use of simple musical concepts to play beautiful compings, beautiful harmony. But let's just get straight to examples. Today we're going to look at a 2-5-1, well, in fact, just a 2-5 in the key of C, and we're going to do it in two ways. So let's learn chords. How we're going to do it, the first chord we will learn is G7. You know this G7 grip here at fret 3, you just bar it, right? So if you look at just the top four strings, this is a G7 chord. And if you were to learn inversions, which is something that I don't have time to talk to right now, but we will talk about it later, you can learn an inversion of the same chord at fret 8. So those two chords are G7s. And basically that's what you need to know. And since we're jazz guys, we want to spice it up with a ninth because that's what we do. So you learn this chord and this chord, which are both still proper ways to play G7 in the context, like this. If you're having trouble with this, just pause the video. Then furthermore, after we have G7, if we want to voice lead to another chord, or what comes before G7, usually in a 2-5-1, the key of C, is D minor 7. So we'll learn D minor 7 in two ways. The one at fret 3 here, and the one at fret 10. And now guess what? We'll be joining G7 from D minor 7 by voice leading. So we start there with our third fret D minor 7, and we go to G7 in this fashion. Did you notice there's only one note that changes, this guy. So here you go, you don't need to jump to another shape, you need to go to one more note. And here's take two. The D minor 7 that we learned at fret 10 here, all we have to do is change one note to make it a D minor 7. So voila, you have two ways that are super proper, optimally voice-led. Can I say that? Yeah, so voice leading is proper in the two examples that we just looked at. But that's not, of course, it's not the end of the story. What you should do on your own when you're attempting to play on chords like this and to have optimal voice leading is you take one string set, say our top strings for us, and you learn all four inversions of the two chords you want to voice lead. So you take D minor 7, you look at it here, 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 but you still play the same four notes, but they're inverted, right? And then you do that for the two chords you're looking at in the progression, so D minor 7 and G7, and then you use optimal voice leading between the two closest inversions. So you always go to the chord that is the closest in terms of movement. Ideally, one or two notes will change and one or two notes will stay the same. Or sometimes three notes will stay the same, as in our example. So indeed, this is not really easy to do on your own. If you want to learn all chords, inversions, and stuff, I highly recommend Jazz Guitar Elements by Michael Barrault, who was one of my teachers in Montreal. You'll learn chord inversions on all string set for all chord qualities. You'll learn how to add extensions. Like us, we did G7 to G9, and how to proper voice lead those chords with extension, giving you possibilities on the 2-5-1. Even with G7 flat 9, G7 sharp 9, G7 flat 5, etc. And get tons of chordal examples on jazz standards, all the things you are, blues, Stella by Starlight, You Stepped Out of a Dream, etc. So this book is also made of just more than just chords. In the following chapters, you get scales and arpeggios and ways to apply improvisation in real context. So here's a little bit of the backstory. So this is tested and true, because it was tested in actual musical research with lots of students, and the book has been on the website since 2011. My personal story is that this is the first baby steps I was involved in jazz guitar with chord inversions and voice leading were done through that book. I strongly believe in that book. Michael was my first teacher when I moved to Montreal, and This book is really well done, really well made. It has served me well. Whenever you hear a comping that I do, it comes from some ideas in that book. So anyways, I'll let you go. That's all for the jazz guitar tips. It's been 7 tips. It's been a great adventure. Thanks for watching. Do not hesitate to ask questions at admin@jazzguitarlessons.net. And you can still look at the website. There's free videos, PDFs, lessons, articles, podcasts, etc. And I also offer private lessons, private coaching. So drop me a line. I'll talk to you soon on jazzguitarlessons.net. Improve your jazz guitar playing with a real teacher. See you next time.